All right. Well, welcome to the Viking Press Pass here. It's the late edition, the 8 o'clock edition. And joining me today from the men's basketball team, senior Nick Giliberto. So, Nick, thanks for hopping on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of fitting because the All CCIW team was announced today, and you were the Augustana's CCIW Respect Award recipient. And for those that maybe don't follow, the Respect Award recognizes student athletes that exemplify great character, inclusiveness, and just overall a positive culture. So, that being said. How does it feel to know that your team, kind of holds you in such a high regard?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I've always tried to lead with positivity and high character throughout my years here, and just try to display that whether that's on the court or off. And it's really cool that my teammates recognize that and my coaches. And really, it's a great award, and I'm super excited to be, recipient of it. So.
Absolutely. Well, it exemplifies the we over me, right? That the coaching staff, really, really kind of model behind and what they preach. And so, no, I think it's awesome. I think it's again, it's it just shows a lot about your character and your selflessness, and a lot of the stuff that Coach Delp and Chris Ford and Dan Sand talked about, even after that Wheaton game, in the post game show, just talked a lot about that. So again, congratulations. I think it's awesome. And it's timely for this podcast. So
Yeah.
couldn't draw it up any better.
Yeah.
um, well, hey, let's start with Saturday night's win. At home over number 11, Illinois Wesleyan. I mean, it was senior night, nationally ranked opponent. Gosh, the largest crowd in recent memory that I can think of. And now hosting the quarterfinals game at home. That was obviously on the line, and now you guys are hosting Elmhurst tomorrow. But for the seniors on the team, obviously including yourself, I mean, what did that game kind of mean to you guys?
Man, it meant a lot. I mean, coming into that game after the defeat we took at their place, we wanted to respond the way that we knew we could. And I'm telling you, this group of guys has dealt with more adversity than I think many college basketball teams have faced over the years. And really, that paid off. And I was telling all my senior friends after, I was like, we deserved that one. We deserved that one to really cap off the year, and it was just really fun to do it with my seniors. It's a rarity to have a senior class that big, to stay connected for that long, and the fight that we put on and the intensity that we played with was really just, I think, really special. And I know I'm going to remember that game for the rest of my life. It was probably the most fun I've ever had playing a basketball game ever, whether it was just the implications in general, the crowd, a little bit of the chippiness going on. It was just a lot of fun, and doing it with that group of guys who I call my family was really, really cool.
And originally I was supposed to do PA for both those games. And the Bob, who does the PA for the team, was able to show up. And so I was like, awesome, I get to watch this as a fan. And I tell you what, you couldn't have picked a better game. And my wife doesn't come very much. I usually bring my son Wyatt with me, and he'll be there tomorrow night with me. And she was just laughing because I was getting so into it. I always like to sit right there courtside, right there at
Mm-hmm.
the middle. Great seats, and God, you couldn't have expected a better game and asked for a better game. It was awesome. And when we think about, like, that reminded me of the way it was when I went to school there, all the way through the teens. And to really see the Rock Island community, the Viking community, really show up for you guys, that was awesome. But how, from your perspective, like, how did that emotion translate to the court for you guys?
I mean, we were fired up from the get go. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but one of the Wesleyan guys took a ball from Matt Hawkins in warm up, so we knew the chippiness was going to start early on, and we knew the battle, that rivalry that we have was gonna happen. And man, we always try to play hard and play smart and play together, and we always try to play the games with the same amount of intensity and focus. But just that senior night, those emotions, I know when we were all standing, getting recognized as seniors, and we got that standing ovation. I know it really set in for all of us that it was going to be a special night for sure.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, it was, I mean, the big senior class, ton of people there. It was awesome. I got some goosebumps. I mean, while I was just sitting there in the stands, just like, just knowing what it kind of felt like to, just, stand in front of a crowd like that and just, kind of be the center of attention and be, recognized for the 4 years of, blood, sweat, and tears, that group has really gone through. And, once that game kind of settles down and, once you're in the middle of it, how much did this game kind of just fade away? I mean, do you start to get pretty locked in, or do you still kind of begin to feel it, throughout the game? Like, how does that mechanism kind of work for you?
For me, I've always tried to stay locked in. I have a saying with Coach Delp that's just trust your work, and I always try to trust it when I'm out there. And as long as I'm focused throughout the entire game, I'll ride the waves of emotion, but I try to stay locked into my assignment, and I know my teammates do as well. We have that next play mentality. We knew that this team, this Wesleyan team, was good, and that they were gonna make some runs and make some plays, and we just wanted to ride those waves, ride that energy out, and it paid off at the end. And we always try to make the hustle play and make the energy plays, and I thought we did more times than not against Wesleyan there.
Well, I mean, and Wesleyan's I mean, they're a tall team, they're a big team, they're a strong team. And God, that was a physical game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I like the fact the referees kind of allowed it to be a little bit physical. Um, and gosh, yeah, it was. I don't know. I'm just kind of a little bit lost for words. Just how awesome it was to kind of be in that environment and come away with the win. And yeah, it all just kind of felt like it was coming together, like it was a storybook ending, to the season, but to the regular season, I should say. But winning that game secured that home matchup tomorrow for the quarterfinals, and that was one of the, I think Coach Delp had and the team had 9 goals that you guys had set out, and that was one of them. And really, how
Mm-hmm.
big is that to not only achieve that goal, but, you know, to begin preparing for Elmhurst, to be at home, you're not on the road, to start things off. I mean, how important is that for this team?
It's huge. I mean, I senior class, and we really appreciate it because we haven't had this experience in our time here, and we're just super excited that the culture of the Carver Crazies is kind of coming back now, and it really does. It amplifies everyone's game when you have that energy and you have that support behind you. It really amplifies everyone. It fires people up. I know some of the guys were it locks them in more, and that's how it should be. And it's just a blast being in that environment, being a part of this family, this culture. It's special. It's a special thing when the Carver Center's rocking. So
Well, and you guys have really kind of set the tone, I think, really for the rest of the underclassmen, that are kind of following in your footsteps, and so your legacy, really, has really started 4 years ago, but you can really cement it, with a nice win tomorrow, and continue to kind of advance and in the playoffs. And um but, when I think about preparing for the game, as I've been interviewing some of the different guys throughout the year, everyone kind of warms up and does things a little bit differently. Anything particular in how you like to prepare and kind of get mentally ready for the game?
yeah, I definitely like to relax as much as possible, and the biggest thing is getting my body right. Over the years, I've developed more of a stretching routine, and I like to do a mobility routine that our strength coach Jeff Rose does before lifts. I do the same mobility every game, every practice, every time I step on the court because it helps me stay loose, stay fresh. Um, Sometimes it helps because when you have to come off the bench after sitting for a while, having that mobility in the back pocket helps me stay loose out there and be able to play to the best of my ability. I also big music guy. I love different. I'd say I have the most variety uh, on the team when it comes to music. I'll listen to about anything under the sun. I love Michael Jackson's one of my favorites to listen to pregame, and yeah, those are probably the main two. Recently this year, I've picked up playing an old school game of Pig, given the time, with one of my teammates, Eli Aldana. And when we get a chance to play that, it just loosens me up. Get to shoot some shots that are sort of, you've seen Curry do it. Um, they're kind of crazy, but they kind of get you in the mode at the same time. So those would be my three game day rituals: would be the stretching, the music, and then sometimes playing a fun game to relax my mind. So
Yeah, well, again, it starts to get those competitive, juices flowing a little bit, but again, it's just fun to do, right?
mhm.
And, um, what about, like, halftime? So, Sean Kelly is a Rice Krispie treat man. Did they have some good snacks, at the Wesleyan game, or
Well, yeah, we love the gummy bears at halftime, and I'm always munching on those during halftime. I know a lot of my teammates love those too, but really, I'm more of the gummy bears guy over the Rice Krispies myself.
I like it. You can respect that. So, well, hey, the team, has won 6 of the last 7. Just thoughts on how the team, has been playing over the last, couple of weeks. Like, what's really been clicking, from your perspective?
Yeah, I think we've prided ourselves, and we always will pride ourselves on defending and rebounding. But kind of what hasn't been clicking early on, and now I think is clicking a lot better, is our offense. And we talk a lot about in practice getting our shots to be good to better to best, and finding those good shots for the right players at the right times has really excelled. And that's why you see guys like Tyler Knuth, really special scorers, scoring at the level they are. We got, I think, one of the best point guards who you can't really stop getting in the lane. Evan Ambrose is going to blow by you every time. Danny Romero, also an unbelievable ball handler. They get down in the lane, they draw help, and we got to kick to great shooters like Tyler and Anthony Cooper. And we've just been really trying to hunt for great shots. And I think that's what's been clicking a lot better. We're rebounding the ball at a tremendous rate. It's really hard to box out Mikey Hamilton. He's a strong guy. I know from plenty of experience and practice that he is a beast on the boards. Ray Marici is just an incredible athlete. So it's just been special to see our offense clicking. We're getting those really great shots, and when we miss, we got beasts on the boards cleaning it up, and then we can hunt daggers from there. So that's what I think's been turning around for us over these past 7 games.
Well, and just even second chance points, right? Coming off those offensive rebounds, kicking back out, and do a wing to shoot it, and or sometimes there's been a couple times where there's third chance points. Again, that not only just helps, from a scoring perspective, but again, kind of whittles down some of that clock management as well. And it's kind of defeating, if you're on the other side of it, and defensively, you're giving up 2 or 3 shots per possession. That it hurts the ego a little bit. So,
Yeah, definitely for sure.
um, now, um, after the Wheaton game, which I think has been awesome this year, like Chris Ford and Dan Sand have been doing the post game shows. I think that's been great. Where interview a coach, interview one of the players, um, and one of the things they were talking a lot about is really just your selflessness. This year, I mean, obviously it's why you were the Respect Award. I mean, it comes down to just being a very selfless player, and just great positive culture. And but I think he was talking a lot about playing out of position at times. You help provide the energy, kind of spark off the bench. And how do you feel like your role has really kind of contributed to the success of the Vikings here, as of late?
Yeah, I mean, I just always want to provide energy where I can, how I can. It is true. I've sacrificed a lot. I've played multiple different positions here, but wherever I'm at and however I'm, asked to be, I'm just trying to approach it with my mentality of trusting my work and gonna keep trying to excel at where I'm at, whether that's the five, having to battle with the bigs all night, or at the four where I'm gonna have to be a little quicker on my feet and stay in front of guys. But overall, it's just for them. I love my team more than anything, and I respect any decision Coach Delps makes, and I'm just trying to provide the best ability I can provide out there on the court. So
Well, it's also nice because when you come in, even if you're playing at the five, you're able to kind of stretch the floor a little bit, shoot some long twos, some longer jumpers, pull up from three. And that's really important to, draw some of those, bigger folks out again, which, just contributes to why you guys have been, so good on the boards and, getting some of the other folks, some of the bigs on the other team kind of out of position. So, no, I think it's been awesome. I mean, it's the epitome of the Augie ego, team first attitude, hard, smart together. So, I swear if you're, if you're following Augustana basketball, I hope everybody knows it's hard, smart together, right? So,
right.
you guys talk about it so much. So, um, now, hey, your family was in town this weekend, obviously for that. Now you were walked out by your parents, Rick and Tracy and brother Anthony.
Mhm.
Now, is that little brother or big brother Anthony?
That's Big Brother Anthony.
All right, I was like,
He's, yeah.
he had a couple inches on you, so I was just sitting there. I was like, I was thinking like, okay, who's the better basketball player here?
Yeah, he played originally at Colorado School of Mines. His freshman year, moved around a little. Now he's back home working on his education. But yeah, he talk about someone who's been my one of my role models and someone who's I got to battle with my whole life, and prep me for battling with bigs like guys on Wesleyan. It's hard to guard guys like my brother. He had a great jump shot, crazy post game. So battling with him, whether it was outside on the court or just in practice every day in high school, it was a blast playing with him back then. And he's really taught me a lot about the game. And I know he's still fired up, and he was fired up all game when he got to come and watch. It was just a blast to see him. I missed him a lot, so it was good.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, you guys were pretty competitive. Then I would assume.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. We'd have a lot of one on ones on the court outside.
Now, who won the last game?
The last game of one on one, man, it's been a while. He's retired a little, but I I think I won the last one. He'd probably say different, but I think I won the last one.
Now, how did you and the family, celebrate that win Saturday night?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we all got together as a senior class, and all the families got together. It was really special, just everyone getting together. But I mean, seeing my family and them being able to support me through my favorite game, like I said, probably ever. It was just a blast. We had dinner. It was a fun time.
Now they were around Sunday, so what'd you guys get to do on Sunday?
On Sunday, we did some grocery shopping out. I always like to get some grocery shopping done while they're here. But we went out to breakfast. I had some extended family in town as well, so we all got breakfast in the morning, and then at night we got dinner at Treehouse. I think it was Treehouse. Yeah, Treehouse.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't
the
know.
Treehouse Eatery.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was good.
nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, are they able to come back tomorrow night at all, or they'll have to be watching kind of remotely?
Yeah, they're gonna be watching remotely. They all had to head back. My dad's a school teacher, and so they had to get back to work. So, which is
Yeah,
understandable.
that's a long commute from Phoenix.
Yep, definitely, definitely. I think it's a 3.5 hour flight. So
So, how did you end up, at Augustina then here from Phoenix, or excuse me, from
right.
Paradise
So
Valley?
yeah, the coach that recruited me here to Augie was Steve Schaefer, who coached during that COVID year, and he's originally from Phoenix, Arizona. So he was the connection that got me here. He recruited me. He recruited me at a showcase that I was playing in, and I played really well there. Made a lot of threes, and from there on, I came to visit in the winter. Got to meet the rest of the staff. That's when I met Delp as well, and then from there it was a done deal. I loved. I mean, I came during winter break. There was no one here. There was a winter blizzard, which was the first, probably my second or third time seeing snow in my life, which was just a blast to me. And so from there, it was a done deal. I just wanted to be, I knew I wanted to be a part of the basketball culture that I was told about here. And it's just, it's so cool that it's like a full circle moment because that culture that we discussed when I was getting recruited is in full throttle right now. So it's really awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was kind of curious how you got here from Arizona, and then
Mhm.
that's a cool story, and I mean there's so many of the student athletes that comment that's like once you know step foot on campus, you just know
Yep.
it's a good fit for you, it's a great culture fit, and so that's awesome. And you mentioned in your senior night kind of script and walkout intro as Greece was one of your best memories. You know Tell me a little bit about the Greece trip.
Yeah, it's really a rare experience for unless you're part of an athletic team to go to a foreign country with all of your best friends. I mean, it's just awesome. You go, you get to play the game that you love. We got to actually do a clinic with younger kids in Greece, so we got to coach them up. We got to play in 4 different games, and then you just got to experience the culture of Greece. And there's really nothing like it because you're with your friends 24/7. You guys are doing the same things. You're seeing all these incredible things that, I mean, I never thought I'd see all these islands and be in the most beautiful water that I've ever seen in my life. But it was just, it's truly the most incredible experience of my life. And I mean, it's a blast.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, Saturday night obviously was a pretty special night. Now, where does Saturday night's win kind of rank in that favorite memory?
That's a good question because that feeling I had with those guys in the locker room after Wesleyan, that might have peaked over Greece just a little. Now there's definitely a lot of more moments in Greece, I guess you can say, that
Yeah.
are on that list, but that feeling and just that, you know, that, like I said, how we thought we deserved this moment was truly incredible for all of us. I mean, we were all tearing up a little too, so it was just awesome.
That's awesome. I mean, so you guys are 16-9 this year, which is obviously the best year you've had in your 4 years here. Now, what's different about this year versus kind of years past, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just the energy. I mean, we're always trying to play hard, play smart, and together. This year, we're trying to play hard, smart, and together, and with joy. So we want to play with joy. We want to play for each other. Um, we know that everything's not gonna always go perfect, but I think how we've responded to adversity this year has been a little different, and I think that's what's the difference this year is that positive energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And um, now, one of the things you talked about, is wanting to be a coach, and that was one of the other things in that script. And so let's take kind of that perspective for a moment, and maybe give me like your assessment of like who are the kind of underclassmen, freshman, sophomore coming up that potentially see playing big roles, in the Vikings here over the next maybe 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of guys, and I mean, these guys, all of them who are on that JV squad this year, they prep us for the games like no other. They are always competing their tails off, and they make us work all the time. And it's really special that we have this much talent to prepare us for these games. It makes all the difference. Some names to mention. I know Jake Willems. He's a really talented scorer. He's kind of a 3 level scorer, and I could definitely see him taking on a scoring role. Dom Roden got some minutes this year. Unbelievable on ball defender. Will pick up 94 feet the whole game. He's good on offense. And then, I mean, we got a lot of shooters too. I can mention Eli Aldana. He's got probably the quickest release on the team. Made, I think, 1 or 2 game winners this year on the JV squad. So we got a bunch of guys. We got Nick Rayich and Maddox Steekman down low, who always give me bumps and bruises every practice that we're working. And yeah, they're always competing their tails off, and it's exciting. I can't wait to see what's in store for them.
Yeah, I was able to catch a little bit of the JV game streamed, before the girls game kicked off, and um, yeah, the JV game. I mean, they won as well. So I mean, that was a pretty high
Yep.
scoring game. I think it was in the 80s and 70s. Um, so again, yeah, I mean, ton of talent there, and again, as much as you can get as many minutes as possible on the floor together and continue to kind of work that system. It's been awesome, and the rotation's been changing, a little bit. I know that's been something that the coaching staff has kind of worked through a little bit this year as well, and I'm excited to see how kind of things materialize again tomorrow. And granted, we beat Elmhurst both times this year, but neither one's been easy.
Right.
They've been in the same position, so um, what are you guys expecting from Elmhurst tomorrow night?
We're expecting a battle. You know, it's a hard to beat a team 3 times, regardless of who they are or what's happened in prior games. But we're just trying to apply the same pressure and physicality that we applied to them last game. But we know they're going to battle with us. They're well coached. They play their tails off. They pressure, and they're trying to be physical with us all game as well. So it's going to be a battle, no doubt.
One of the things you mentioned, I was kind of thinking again about that, the script as you were walking out with your parents, and you said, following graduation, you plan to teach math. Now, you said your dad was a teacher. Is he also a math teacher?
He is. He is also a math teacher. Yep.
So, why'd you kind of pick the math and the education side?
Yeah, well, so my actual original major here at Augie was mechanical engineering, and engineering was also something that I all studied throughout high school. At my high school, there was an engineering program that I was a part of called Crest, and so it was something I really enjoyed. But when I came here to Augie, I kind of made that realization that I wanted to be more vocal and be more of a leader to say. Um, and I really enjoy math. That was the part of engineering that I loved the most. I love math. I've loved it. I mean, my dad has always, been a little, tough on me, but he wanted to always make me excel at math, and it's paid off. I had one unbelievable math teacher at home who kind of inspired me to want to be one as well. So I've always enjoyed uh, leading, and I want to be a leader to my students, and that's why I kind of went to teaching instead of engineering here in my freshman year.
Well, it also, will lend you to be a coach, somewhere as well. So the schedule
Definitely.
works out just right. Now, you said, to teach math in either Iowa or Illinois. Why are you looking to kind of stay in this area?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my past spring where I was the Quad City Shockers little fifth grade coach, myself and Chase. We coached. We did some player development also at Geneseo, so we made the trip over there as well. And that's something I want to continue to do. And I feel like the connections I have here, um, whether I decide to stay or not, I want to continue doing player development anywhere I'm at, and it's been a blast. So I'm still trying to decide what side of the river I want to be on, and I'm still trying to decide where I'm going to be at. Um, but I do know that I want to stay in the Midwest, which a lot of people are taken back by because they think Arizona's, super warm all the time, which it is. But, I've really thoroughly enjoyed the Midwest, and I love it here. So that's kind of why I've made that decision to stay.
Now, where have you been doing your student teaching at?
I'm at Pleasant Valley High School.
Nice. We've had a handful of people have kind of gone over there and done their student teaching. How have you? I mean, that's a great school. It's one of the best schools in the area, and um, But are you student teaching right now, or did you do it in the fall?
No, I'm student teaching right now. So I was up at 6:20 this morning, student taught all day, and now I'm here. So
So you have to teach them tomorrow as well.
oh yeah, for sure.
So
Mhm.
how's that been, just balancing, school and basketball and kind of student teaching? I mean, how have you kind of managed that?
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. My co-op, who I get to work with every day, she's very understanding of the busyness that I have. So she's kind of working me in slowly to full on teaching. So right now I'm full on teaching only three and pretty soon to be four out of the six classes that are each day. And then pretty soon, once the season ends, hopefully late, later than not, but whenever it ends, that's when I'll take over more. But it's definitely been a balancing act. Some late nights and a lot of early mornings where I have to do my work ahead of time. Try to work through my prep hours, through my lunch hours, because I know once I come home that it's time to lock in and get to work at practice, and then do some class work as well. So yeah, it's definitely a balancing act.
Well, it's a nice little preface to adulthood. So I mean, worked all
Yeah,
day, went and coached, and quick shower, and read to my son real quick. And well, actually, he read to me. He's reading to me now, and then yeah, here we are, on a podcast here at 8:30 at night. So,
right.
um, so you're getting some good life lessons now. Um, so I mean, is there going to be an announcement at PV? Like, how do we get all the Pleasant Valley students over to Augie tomorrow night just to continue to kind of pack the house? I mean,
I know. I feel like we got to make an announcement on the PA or something. I don't know. I could talk to the front office, but I know a lot of them have. I know a lot of my students have been watching. They all like. I had a lot of students come up to me today and say, "Great game." So it was really cool to see.
well, let's we'll tell them they got to show up to Carver tomorrow. I mean, we need all that energy, really, no matter what. So,
Right.
um, well, awesome, man. Well, hey, you know, I'll end with this. What would you say is something that people may not necessarily, know or would maybe expect? You already said you want to stay in the Midwest, so that's a shock to some of the folks. But what's maybe something people don't necessarily know about you or wouldn't expect?
I am a huge Star Wars fan. That's one thing that a lot of people, I guess, don't know. I love. I'm pretty. I would consider myself a nerd. Love all things sci-fi, Star Wars, Marvel, a little bit of anime at times. But yeah, I love all things sci-fi, and it's something I just always have liked. So,
So which Star Wars is your favorite?
Revenge of the Sith would be my favorite.
All right. Who's your favorite character?
Favorite character? Oh, it's like picking a favorite teammate. But my favorite character would probably be Darth Maul, which is kind of a different one. But some people have never heard of him, but I like him.
The it's funny. I Star Wars is one that, especially like on the weekends, when I just kind of want to just lounge around, and that's literally what I turn on, and I'll watch two or three of them. Um, but then when my boys got old enough to play like video games, we started doing the Star Wars Lego game.
Yep.
And I tell you
Oh
what,
yeah.
it's a ton of fun. Like, I kind of, you know, there you go. Something people might not know much about me. I like to play Star Wars Lego on Xbox. It's, with them, it's a ton of fun. So, um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Star Wars is awesome. So, I mean, what did you think about, just kind of how they've kind of continued to, evolve things with, was it Raya, there at the end, and the last Jedi, and kind of that story. I mean, how did you think they
Yeah.
kind of ended it?
There's definitely a lot of mixed reviews about it. I personally did not enjoy it as much, obviously, as the original six. I think they're entertaining. I think they have cool graphics. I think some parts of the story were cool. Like I thought the Force Awakens was cool, but Yeah, I think there's better, and I think some of the TV shows that they've done have surpassed those 3 movies, like The Mandalorian, Andor, and I know season 2 of Andor is coming out soon. I can't wait for that, but yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I love The Mandalorian. I thought that was awesome.
Mhm.
So, I mean, God, there's so many, like, if you look at you step back and just look at the timeline, yeah, that's always kind of interesting to look at it. And, they've got all the different, cartoon series, obviously all the Disney Plus series, those have been awesome to do. Um, yeah, it's like, at what point does it end? And it's like, well, it kind of doesn't. That's kind of the
Right,
beauty of it. So,
that's
oh well, I
true.
love it. Well, hey, well, Nick, I know it's late. You got to get up and you got to teach in the morning, and before you can come back and bring the W back inside Carver tomorrow night. So need to get your rest. And but again, thanks for connecting with me today, man. It was a ton of fun. I was glad I was able to get you in here before the last home game here, and so certainly good luck tomorrow night against Elmhurst, and me and my son will be right there cheering you on. So.
Awesome. It was great meeting you.